This is verse 16, and we are picking back up possibly what we started in the first part of this chapter, which was where Isaiah was to write in this large tablet that was to belong to his son Maher-shalal-Hashbaz. And this seems to be continuing that thought. And so it says, bind up the testimony, seal the teachings among my disciples. So apparently Isaiah was to take many of his teachings and seal them up and keep them with his disciples. What was this sealed teaching? Well, we are going to have some references to a sealed book that's going to come up later in Isaiah, and perhaps that is this. But it's also possible that because of the stylistic differences from the early chapters of Isaiah to the later chapters of Isaiah, starting in chapter 40, one thought is that these early chapters of Isaiah may have been put together by his disciples from his oral teachings, which would explain why they are sometimes a bit shorter. They are sometimes a bit more chopped up. But then starting in 40, we have longer, more soaring rhetoric that is more deeply connected with longer sections of related poetry. This portion from 40 onward might have been more of Isaiah's written message. If that's the case, then that might explain some of the stylistic differences between 40 and later and the early parts of Isaiah. Now, I will point out that the majority opinion is that from 40 and later it was actually written by a different author well after Isaiah's time. I'm offering this as an alternative to that thought of how it might be related to the rest of Isaiah. But perhaps that other portion is what is going to become this sealed portion of Isaiah. So these earlier chapters focus on narrative stories of his life and shorter fragments of teachings. We should not pass up the opportunity here to note that Isaiah had disciples. Did he set up some variation of religion that differed from the more common religion? Or perhaps he taught doctrines that others were simply not ready to hear? What did it mean to become Isaiah's disciple? How does one join that group? These are interesting thoughts about his place in his society.